So it's February 2nd, 2009, and I wake up to a phone call from my mother. She says, "Hey, I need you to check on your father. He hasn't been answering the phone. I think something's wrong." And see, she left that house 2 months earlier out of fear. So now he's alone, and he's silent, and I need to see what's going on. So I'm speeding through the rain, and the windshield wipers, they can't even keep up. I get to the house, I knock on the door, I ring the doorbell, nothing. So I check to see if it's unlocked, and it is. And that's something he would never do. So I open the door, I look to the right, and there he is. He has his service pistol on his right side, the dog curled up behind his legs. On the floor, scattered pictures and an empty bottle of Sambuca. And I couldn't believe it. He just took his own life. I couldn't believe it was real, so I did exactly what I was taught to do, and I shut down. You see, I grew up walking on eggshells. My father, he was a tough man. He parented out of fear. He was explosive. He'd go silent. He'd shut down. He wouldn't talk to us for days. He was unpredictable. And my mom, well, she just wanted everything to be okay. So she would just sweep everything underneath the rug. No explanations, no apologies. Just bury those feelings down and let's move on. So I taught myself how to shut down, and by 13 years old, I was drinking and I was doing drugs. Got arrested multiple times, held up at gunpoint. I knew I needed a change, so I joined the Navy. And it gave me everything I needed. I had pride for the first time, purpose. Felt like I was a part of something that was bigger than myself. And when I got out, though, nothing had changed. In fact, maybe it was even worse. My brother was in prison. My parents were still fighting. My dad lost it all again. And he was gone. And I'm standing over his body. I call 911. Then I call my mom. And to this day, I can still hear her screaming out his name. The firefighters came, tried to grab the body, but the dog was protecting it, barking and growling. So I had to go over there and grab him, just so that they can take the body away. And as I watched them carry the body out of the house, I realized I did what I needed to do. I felt nothing. I was numb. I had shut everything down. So I stayed back and cleaned up the scene, and I cut the blood out of the carpet while I swept all those emotions right underneath the rug. But life goes on. And I got married, had some kids, built a little life for myself. But those emotions that you push down deep, they always find a way to come back up. Always. And mine came up with anger. I overreacted with my kids. I started to shut down. I got divorced. And then those intrusive thoughts started to come in, like maybe it's time to end it all. And I had to ask myself, am I becoming my father? But my sister was 15. My sister was 15 years younger than me. She was 13 when my dad passed away. And man, I loved her so much. And all I ever wanted to do was protect her. Whenever I'd see her in pain or her feelings hurt or whatever, man, it just broke my heart. Broke my heart. And even though we were on different sides of the country, we always found ways to keep in touch. We'd send funny texts, share music, share books. I got to see her grow up. I got to see her become a mom, and an amazing one at that. And then in June 2023, we went out for the first time as just brother and sister. There was no father figure role. It was like me, her, and my cousin. We went out and we partied. We danced and we laughed. And man, we had such a great time. And I remember every 30 minutes I'd grab her by the shoulders and I'd tell her how much I loved her and how proud I was of her. The woman that she had become, the mother that she'd become. I mean, it was one of the most amazing nights of my life. And I felt so much joy and so much love. It was amazing. But then on October 15th, 2023, I got a call. And I got this call while I was running a 4x4x48 challenge to end veteran suicide. And that challenge is 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And I was 44 miles in, getting ready for my last 4 miles, and I got this call. And it was my stepfather. And he was crying. And he told me my sister died, and she took her own life. I spent many years visualizing myself walking her down the aisle at her wedding, and there I was walking her ashes out of the funeral home. And it was too much. There was no burying this. There was no sweeping this under the rug. I needed help. So I reached out, and before I know it, I'm on a plane. I'm headed out to Mexico, a veteran retreat. And I'm laying on the ground. I got the eye mask on. I just drank a whole bunch of psilocybin, and I go on this journey, man, and I go deep. I go deep, and it's dark, and I go straight to hell, and I start feeling all of those feelings that I had buried for so long. I felt all the pain, all the sadness, all the grief, all the guilt. I remembered that I was the one who told my mom to leave 2 months before my dad died. He was alone, and I could feel it. I could feel it all. And I cried, and my body shook. And I needed another man to come and grab my hand and just tell me that it was going to be okay. And then the next night, did it again. Same eye mask, psilocybin, started off right back in that dark place, right back in hell. And I remember thinking to myself, again? Like, why am I coming back here again? And at that moment, a hand hits my chest. And the healer walks up, hand on my chest, and he says, "Brother, you got to open up your heart." And those words, "open up your heart," they pulse through my body. Like, what does that mean? Open up your heart. And I thought about it, and I realized for so long, all I've ever wanted to do is change who I was to be somebody different. And I realized what I really needed was to just know who I was, to know myself, and to accept myself. All the love, all the pain, all the guilt, all the shame, all the joy, all of it. And at that moment, the whole journey started to change. The ground broke open, and I felt like I was just getting pulled out of hell. And I felt lighter. And then the energy changed. And it was so familiar. I felt like I had been there before, and all of a sudden I was right back in that moment in June 2023 with my sister. And we were laughing, and we were dancing, and I was telling her how much I loved her and how proud I was of her. And it was amazing. I felt it all. I felt all the love, all the joy, all the awe. It was so much, I didn't even know how to handle it. It was like that, like my body didn't know how to respond to such emotions like this. And I started to laugh and cry at the same time. My whole body started to shake, and the two hands on my chest again, and they said, man, you got to breathe. So I take the eye mask off, and I take this deep breath. And I realized I got exactly what I needed. I needed to feel again. I needed to feel all of it. And it's pretty crazy when you start to feel again. It's overwhelming. It's not easy. But over time, I started to really understand where these feelings were coming from and why and how they felt in my body. And then I learned to communicate them. And man, once I could do that, my relationships just started to blossom. And now I'm married to this amazing woman there. Who I can talk to her about anything. No judgment. It's beautiful. And my kids, they get to see their father feel. They get to see him cry. I do this a lot now. I'm making up for 20 years. They get to see him heal, and it's beautiful. And I'll tell you, I've learned so much from this. I've learned that healing has no endpoints. Healing's a journey, and it's honest, and it's hard, and it's worth it. And I've learned that I don't have to do this alone, that I have so many amazing people in my corner every day willing to help out. And I've learned that I don't have to change, I don't have to be somebody different. I just have to know who I am at my core and accept all my parts. And the greatest lesson that I've learned, the greatest lesson is that love never dies. Thank you.